welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. Oil Minister Veerappa Moily takes the metro to work to kick off his fuel conservation drive. We ask, will this be just another photo opportunity or can it actually help to save fuel and cut India's current account deficit in the process? Also on the show, a month after the Muzaffarnagar riots, Rahul Gandhi launches the Congress campaign for Uttar Pradesh in minority-dominated Aligarh and Rampur. But he hard sells the UPA's flagship schemes. We ask, will the battle for UP be fought on communal politics or development? But first, in some news coming in, the CBI has written to the Income Tax Department seeking a probe into tax inconsistencies relating to properties owned by Samajwadi Party chief Mulayam Singh Yadav's wife and his son Prateek. Sunetra Chaudhary joining us for more on this. Sunetra, what details are you getting? The CBI, of course, recently saying that it had no evidence to prove corruption by Mulayam Singh Yadav or his older son. But now clearly the sting lies in the tail. It's asked the Income Tax Department to probe further.
Well, very interesting. CBI sources telling us that on the 19th of September, the time that they were closing that case, that CBI DA case, at that time, they told us, and we reported as well, that there were certain anomalies that they found which went against the Yadav family. Now we find out that those anomalies are something that they are pursuing. So it's not a complete clean sheet that they're giving. What they've said is they've written to the Income Tax Department around the same time, telling them about Prateek Yadav and also Sharada Gupta. What they're saying that Sharada Gupta, Mulayam Singh Yadav's wife, and Prateek, and they're saying between 1998 and 2003, when Prateek was a minor, there are certain transactions that were done which CBI feels aren't above board. Now, actually what's also interesting is that the tip-off about this came from the original petitioner, that's Vishwanath Chaturvedi, and he talks about 4 properties. If I can tell you what those properties are. One property on MG Road of Lucknow, which they actually bought for 3 lakhs, but is now obviously of a huge amount of money that's unspecified because they've not got rid of that property. Also 2 plots at Village Kamta in Lucknow district, which they bought for 18 lakhs, but also sold off for 2.5 crores. And then 1 plot in Gomti Nagar of Lucknow, which they bought for 18 lakhs and are still retaining. These are the 4 properties which CBI said that they suspect to be used, the funds that they used to buy it with, they say are not above board. They want income tax authorities to do an investigation into that. They say they would have done an investigation, but because Prateek and Sadhana Devi are both private individuals, they really can't do it, and so it doesn't come under the Prevention of Corruption Act, and that's why they want IT to investigate. So Mulayam Singh Yadav, for his family, may not have to reply to the CBI anymore, but he will have to reply to IT authorities, right, income tax authorities.
Sunetra, thanks so much for joining us with those details. Well, moving on to our big focus tonight, Petroleum Minister Veerappa Moily travelled by the metro today, leading by example, kicking off his fuel conservation drive, which he hopes will help India save $5 billion. It's something he promises to do every Wednesday, at least when he's in town. He wants politicians and public sector employees to follow his example. Shweta Rajpal Kohli brings us that story.
Veerappa Moily decided to walk the talk. The kickoff, the official kickoff of his fuel conservation drive. For Petroleum Minister Veerappa Moily, this is a very important move. He has in fact urged all PSU chiefs to observe a bus day, something he believes will help them save the country as much as $5 billion. The Petroleum Minister there continuing his journey by foot to the metro station. After a short 5-minute walk from his residence at Tughlaq Lane, the Petroleum Minister has now reached the Racecourse metro station, taking the metro to his office at Shastri Bhavan. We are now waiting here at the Racecourse metro station for the metro to arrive. Sir, are you going to do this every week? Are we going to see you do this every week?
Every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday you will be taking the metro to work.
Yeah.
So through the day you will be taking only public transport?
Yeah,
we don't see you using your vehicle at all through the day
never,
today?
Never. And once if you do it, public will also think of doing it.
All right, we can see the metro has just arrived and the Petroleum Minister will be getting into the metro right now. Really hoping that this is something that will send out a right example. As you can see, it's an extremely crowded metro that the Petroleum Minister has clearly boarded, sir. We've of course got huge security presence here today, but is this something you can accomplish week after week?
No, I have not asked them to provide the security, but their presence is there. We can't, because they are there to regulate the traffic.
So was this metro ride a mere photo opportunity or will it result in real savings? Moily claims over 200 officials of the Petroleum Ministry took the public transport today, which means nearly 600 litres of petrol or diesel would have been saved, resulting in savings of over 40,000 rupees in one day alone. All right, a humble beginning is exactly something that the Petroleum Minister says he's doing by taking the metro. It's been the most exciting journey that Veerappa Moily has taken in a long time, finally arriving here at his office in the midst of tremendous media hype, saying that this is a movement that he started, hoping the rest of the country will follow him and take public transport as and when possible. With camera person Sanjay Kaushik and Azam, Shweta Rajpal Kohli for NDTV.
So gimmick, or could this and Mr. Moily's other fuel conservation measures actually have a real impact? Joining us on that discussion tonight, TSR Subramanian, former Cabinet Secretary. From the Congress, we're being joined by Randeep Singh Surjewala, MB Rajesh, Lok Sabha MP of the CPM, joins us. And here in the studio, I have with me Arvind Virmani, former Chief Economic Advisor. He's also been India's representative to the IMF. TSR Subramanian, what do you think? Was this more symbolic than anything else, a photo opportunity, or do you think somewhere along the line this could have some sort of real impact?
Well, certainly it's a photo opportunity, certainly it is symbolic, but the sentiment behind what has been done today is the correct one. But like many of these things, I guess this is a bit sanctimonious. I am curious to know if he went back home, back from the office to his home, whether he went back by metro or the car came empty from the house to the office to take him back home. I think it will be curious to, it will be nice to see that. The point really is that if every officer in Delhi, if every minister in Delhi, if he does that 6 days a week, then it will have, and also encourage people all over the states, officials to do that. Firstly, it will make some sense. Secondly, every time a state plane is used, it takes thousands of liters just for moving one MP or one minister from place to place. And it's the equivalent of about 10,000 government servants going inside the city. So if there is austerity is genuine, I think a lot more has to be done than mere symbolism. I don't want to dismiss it as a gimmick, but if this is just a one-off, one-day show, it is highly laughable.
Arvind Virmani, mere symbolism, or is this something more? The point that TSR Subramanian made as well, VIP movement is a costly thing. And in a sense today we saw a lot of people rather astounded by the amount of security there was on the metro.
Yeah, let me kind of, if you'll give me a few minutes, put it into perspective. There are basically three ways in which you can deal with energy. One is to have the prices right, because unless the prices of oil products reflect the cost, nobody is going to conserve for a long time, and I'll come to that and connect it with what you just saw. So if it is a substitute for that, it will have no effect. If it is something which goes with it, then we come to the next point, which is conservation. Clearly, if people are shown methods of conserving, there are long-term solutions like better planning of cities, like land use, or better planning of houses, how you design houses. But I think public education does have a role, but you got to give them real solutions. If you can show them how your car can run more efficiently, or this is not something they don't know about, but I think it could still play a role in combination with others. And the third thing is alternative energy sources. For example, if you think of transmitting to remote areas, it is very costly. Right. People say in many parts of Bihar, the towers and the wires disappear within a month of it being. So you can have alternative like solar energy stuff and all. If it all goes together, it can have a positive effect. But if it is just a one-off thing, it cannot be maintained. My experience of government is that these one-off things can never be maintained. It maybe will go for a month or so and it'll die.